Hi, it's me, Gatsby from Gatskin, and an evil witch kidnapped me and threw me in a deep dark hole, and I was struggling so much to get out of it that I was unable to make any of the videos I wanted to make. I'll get back to those eventually, but right now I wanted to talk about some slop, some sweet, delicious slop, art slop here on the channel. So, about that art fight rule, I think artfight banning the use of 3D models and self-made like photos to trace over for reference, I think is really stupid. Don't get me wrong, tracing other people's work when you're drawing, that is theft, plain and simple. Don't do that. So that's why you make your own images to trace over if you feel the want or need to do so. That's been a thing artists have done for a long time now, regardless of skill level. If theft is what artfight is worried about, I can kinda maybe get behind the idea of banning 3D models to trace over because of the thought process of, oh, you don't own the 3D models, they belong to Clip Studio Paint or whatever similar service you're using, you know, regardless of the fact that those are made for the intended use of artists to use them, but, you know, whatever. But banning the use of your own photos. You can't use your own photos that you've taken yourself. Just, what? You can't trace over your own photos if you need to? Why? You've taken the photos, you own the photos? Is it because you don't own every single atom in the photo? I mean, I guess I could get the defense of, well, if you let people use the 3D models or their own photos to trace for poses, then they could just spam a specific pose all of artfight. And that's cheating. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I've never moderated any website. But I feel like if it was that noticeable that someone was, you know, spamming a specific pose, couldn't you just, like, mark it as spam or something? And they get, like, a warning or a write-up for, like, spam? And here's another thing I was thinking about, is how will tracing 3D models or your own images, how will that be caught? With, you know, actual, like, theft tracing, that kind of, you know, stealing, you can usually find the source image and line up the offending piece to determine, you know, if tracing is going on or not. But as long as you don't self-report, if you're using your own image, they're not gonna, like, catch it. Because if you're taking a picture of yourself dabbing and you're tracing over that specific picture of yourself dabbing, but if you're making the image that's on your phone, that's on your laptop, are they just gonna, like, break into your house and go through your phone to make sure you're not tracing over your own photos? Okay, let's say, hypothetical, you come across an account where every attack they have, all the characters, they're in the same pose. You know, someone is facing forward, hands behind their back, and you report them because they're obviously tracing a pose from somewhere, and then they get banned. But then it turns out the artist that you reported, they weren't tracing at all. It just happens that where they are in their artistic journey, they're at a point where they can only draw the one pose. Sounds crazy. I've seen it. You know, we're all at different places. I mean, what's next? We can't color pick photos because that's cheating? You don't own the image that you're color picking from? You could color pick the same colors and spam art pieces with the same color palette over and over and over again? You know, some artistic genius comes up to you and is like, if you need to color pick to finish your pieces, then you need to train your eyes to color match better. Oh, you have color blindness? Well, screw you then. Which, in this hypothetical, sounds ridiculous, but I feel like that's kinda happening to artists who will be affected by this no 3D model, no personally made photo reference ruling because they have aphantasia. I've seen a fair amount of artists with aphantasia say, hey, tracing my own references that I've made really helps me get my artwork completed. So are we kind of throwing them under the bus? What's going on there? And that's another thing I'm just realizing. Artfight, it is a monthly challenge, give or take. Sometimes they add on a week because of technical issues. Artfight, a lot of it is trying to make art in a timely manner. And sure, some people, they do quality over quantity. But for a lot of people, if they have a lot of characters they want to draw within a short period of time, what's a good way to, ethically cut down the time? Trace poses from references that you have made yourself. And I have a confession. Though looking over the rules again, I might be in the clear. I don't know. But, so all the characters on my Artfight page, they are chibi versions. Very cute, very chibi. So for all of these, I used a 3D model on the Clip Studio Paint asset store to help me draw these, because I suck at drawing in a chibi style, and I wanted these in a chibi style. So I used the model to help me with that. So I guess I'm a renegade now, because I didn't credit the 3D model off the Clip Studio Paint asset store. Artfight's gonna send their elite force to come and get me in the night. There's probably a lot more points someone could make for or against this ruling. I definitely did not share my thoughts and opinions in the most eloquent manner. And at the end of the day, I'll live with this ruling. I'm shaking my fist at the sky like a curmudgeoned old person, but I'll live with it. And to me, this whole situation is about what you determine as acceptable as an artist, because there's so many different ways to do art, so many perspectives and moral standings for what you deem as acceptable. For me, if you're tracing your own images or assets that you have the right to use, I see no issue with that, but clearly that's not the case for everyone. It is what it is. Okay, hi, I just woke up this morning, I was gonna get ready to edit this video, and I just found out that there was other rules that I saw that have just broken my mind. Okay, so rule number 6, photography that you do not own or have permission to use may not be posted by itself. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. Photographs may be used as backgrounds and mood boards in attacks and character images, but may not be counted for points. Crediting photography is encouraged, but not necessary. Mood boards cannot be posted on their own for character images or attacks. Okay, this is the one that I'm like having a conniption over. Photo bashing and collaging are not permitted. Images of minors may not be uploaded to the site. That's a good one. But photo bashing and collaging are not permitted, but you can still use a photograph as a background and in mood boards. How do I put in words? How can I put into words how little sense that makes? Because, I will admit, photo bashing and collaging. I did a little bit of collage, here and there in high school, as you often do, art high school project, but those specific art forms, so much work is involved where you are taking something and making it your own. It's a lot like how when musicians sample music, they might take bits and pieces from other songs, but they create something wholly new. Same thing with photo bashing and collaging. Your own input as an artist is put in. But no, that's not permitted, even though that is a very valid art form. A lot of professional artists photo bash. But no, we can't do that. But you can use a photograph as a background. Honestly, between the two, I think we should be more mad about no photo bashing and no collage, as opposed to the no, posable 3D models, thing. Like, and photos like that was stupid. This is just downright hypocritical. I would say it's downright hypocritical. And I don't want to make assumptions, but I feel like in this specific case, they have something against photo bashing and collage work. Whatever group of people were in charge of that ruling, they had something against those art forms. That is my personal opinion, though. Take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, I gotta go change my character icons on artfight. Artfights? Yep. Anyways, I gotta go change my character icons on artfight now, or at least like update them. I don't know. General, whatever. Artfight 2026. Let's yay.